A Monday morning house fire in Scottsbluff causes more than $15,000 in damage. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, no injuries were reported from a house fire in Scottsbluff on Monday. Emergency responders were called to a fire in the 1800 block of Avenue G around 8:40 in the morning, finding black smoke coming from the front door. Scottsbluff Fire Chief Tom Shingle says firefighters found the fire in the bathroom and had the blaze under control within 5 minutes of arrival. Shingle says the cause of the blaze remains under investigation, with damage estimated at approximately $16,000. Gehring Fire responded with mutual aid, with Scottsbluff Police and Valley Ambulance also on scene. Carissa Shank with Firefighter Ministry says her organization provided the occupants with motel accommodations and vouchers for clothing. Well, a two-vehicle crash at the intersection of Highway 26 and Avenue B causes serious damage, but fortunately, no injuries. Scottsbluff Police say around 11:15 a.m. on Monday, an eastbound Mercury Marquis driven by 68-year-old Arlene Georgian of Crawford ran a red light and struck a northbound Honda CRV driven by a 32-year-old Scottsbluff woman. The blue Marquis sustained serious front-end damage, and both airbags were deployed. The red CRV sustained damage to its rear, including its rear bumper to fall off. Both drivers refused medical treatment by Scottsbluff Fire and Valley EMS, and Georgian was cited for traffic signal violation and seatbelt violation. Al's towing was requested by both owners, and eastbound traffic on Highway 26 was closed to through traffic for approximately 45 minutes while crews worked to clear the scene. Well, coming up after the break, Bill Boyer says the hot temperatures will continue. Any cool down in sight? He's got your Tuesday evening forecast right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, you don't have to be like a tortoise and carry your home on your back. They have mortgage experts that can help you finance the home that's perfect for you. Whether you're a first-time home buyer looking for your next home or simply want to refinance the home you're in, the experienced lenders at Platte Valley Bank are there to help. Contact them at pvbank.com or call and visit with one of the mortgage experts to take advantage of great rates at Platte Valley Bank.
This is KNEB.TV weather from the KNEB Storm Center, your trusted source for weather.
Well, we're going to continue the same old as the broken record forecast continues. Temperatures fall through the 80s and eventually the 70s and down into the 60s as we get towards sunrise. Not much changing here as our heat wave's going to continue. Only isolated storms are expected. We're going to see areas of smoke and haze at times as well. And this is probably the big headline here. No real deviations from this forecast until maybe August. Yeah, it's going to be a prolonged period of temps here in the 90s. 91 is our normal high, so we're not talking a heat wave over, crazy heat wave, but a lot of these days out there in the 90s, which just feel nice and hot this time of year. And unfortunately, we're going to continue to dwindle some of our precip here across the region. 90s are entrenched in our area, cooler 80s off to the east. Hottest temps still up to the north of us. 85 right now in Mullen. It's 91 in Oshkosh. There's a 95 in Scottsbluff, 96 in Chandra, 95 over in Torrington. Winds have been pretty active today out of the south-southeast, 10 to 15, even up to 20 miles an hour at times. That hasn't really helped cool anything down because it's so hot, but we certainly do have some gusty breezes at times. Severe weather threat confined off to the north of us. Not here in our area today, tomorrow, and on into Thursday. It is dry and quiet with nothing really going on here in our area. Any thunderstorms should remain confined to the high country. They'll try to make their way off, and they just won't have any luck doing it tonight. More clouds across the area tonight. We're going to see a fair amount of those. Temperatures overnight going to fall down into the 60s. That's it. Some areas may struggle to even get into the 60s. We have a 72 tonight on the board at Chadron. Tomorrow we filter some of these clouds out. We'll average the day out partly cloudy. Here come your afternoon storms, build up in the high country, and then they just have a hard time pushing out to the east. You may see one or two short-lived thunderstorms that try to push off the high country, and that's about it. We're going to bake tomorrow in the 90s here, closing in on 100, and we're going to stay in that ballpark for the next several days. We'll be in the 90s for the foreseeable future. Precip going to be fairly light, in fact, if any out there. A couple of areas maybe picking up 100th. That is about it. It's isolated thunderstorms at best. Mostly cloudy skies tonight, 68 for a low. We're going to be clearer tomorrow and not as windy. Winds at about 5 to 10. Areas of smoke and haze going to be around as well. We'll be closing in on 100, and we may get there again on Thursday near 100. I suppose the weekend you could call that slightly cooler with low 90s. Right back into the upper 90s, though, Monday, Tuesday of next week, as we have very little going on out here that's going to help us cool things down over the next 7 days.
At 21st Century Equipment, we're proud to introduce the new Build Your Own tool. Build the John Deere you've been wanting and see how affordable it really is. Visit 21stcenturyequipment.net to build your own compact utility tractor, mower, or gator. It's easy to add implements, attachments, and view financing options. Build the exact tractor for your needs at a price you can afford, all from the comfort and safety of home, with the new Build Your Own tool at 21stcenturyequipment.net.
Hydrozen. Unplug and recharge. What is Hydrozen? It's total body relaxation. It's total body recharge. It's floating weightless on water. Floating your aches, pains, stresses, and worries away. Hydrozen is a revolutionary new therapy using Epsom salt saturated water as a way to relax and rejuvenate your body. And it's now available in Scottsbluff. It is for most ages and has many benefits to the mind and body. Visit hydrozenfloat.com or call us at 308-63-FLOAT.
The summer heat is back, but you can keep your cool with new windows and doors for renewal by Anderson of Wyoming. That's right, Christmas in July is back. And for a limited time, Renewal by Anderson is offering 20% off and no payment, no money down, and no interest for 18 months. That means no payment until 2023 and 20% off every window and door. Call 307-215-7493 and schedule your free in-home estimate from Renewal by Anderson of Wyoming today.
Welcome back. The skies over western Nebraska will be filled with hot air balloons on August 11th through the 14th as the 2021 Old West Balloon Fest and U.S. Nationals Hot Air Balloon Competition takes place. Organizers for the event are seeking volunteers, and event director Colleen Johnson tells KNB News volunteers who crew for pilots have a lot of fun and says the pilots always take good care of their crews.
I really encourage people. It's a lot of fun. You get a t-shirt, you get an event pass, which is a $20 value. And also we do a volunteer barbecue for the volunteers, and we'll do that at Legacy of the Plains this year.
If you'd like to volunteer, just go to their website at theoldwestballoonfest.com and sign up. Johnson says the volunteer coordinator will then give you a call to get you set up. Well, area school boards have started issuing statements regarding the draft health education standards under development by the Nebraska Department of Education, generally against the initial draft language. Both Gering and Scottsbluff boards said parents and guardians are the primary educators of their own children, and each district works as a partner to support and assist in that effort. Gering school officials say they have no plans to revise or adopt health education standards for the upcoming school year, and Scottsbluff schools representatives say they oppose the initial standards as proposed by NDE. Both districts note there will be a second draft released later this summer, and school boards have the right to adopt all, part, or none of the standards once they are finalized. And Nebraska schools are getting conflicting advice from state and federal health officials over whether students should quarantine after contact with someone who tests positive for COVID-19. The State Department of Health and Human Services is telling schools that students who had contact with an infected person would not have to quarantine as long as they don't have any symptoms. But the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that students who are not vaccinated and have close contact with an infected person should still quarantine. Each school district will be left to decide which advice to follow after consulting with local health officials. Well, coming up after the break, Chabella Guzman catches up with UNL Extension educator Deepak Santra to talk about new field pea variety samples. She'll have that story right after the break.
This year, W2 means we double. Reganis Auto Center will double your down payment on any pre-owned vehicle on their lot. Turn $500 into $1,000. Turn $1,500 into $3,000. Use that money to get out of your lease or a vehicle you owe too much on, or to lower your monthly payments. For a limited time only, double your down payment only at Reganis Auto Center on East Overland and East 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Your volume discount dealer.
This chair is way too big. It's perfect for us. This one's tiny. That's 'cause it's mine. Hey, this chair is just right. This bed is way too hard. It's perfect for me. This bed is way too soft. Just what I needed. This bed is just right. So come on over to Leaf Heads.
In boots, new and old, you've walked the rows of life, a fence length of time. You fought the floods, snow, and sweltering heat, and lifted breathing and settled pain. With a smile and a cry, you've strengthened your community and future generations. Sometimes with nothing to say. Often can't say enough. Like, let me do it again.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
The High Plains Ag Lab in Sydney has a field pea variety trial going on, led by Deepak Santra, Nebraska Extension Alternative Crop Breeding Specialist. Santra says they have about 20 varieties they are testing this year.
With respect to new varieties, there are a couple of new entries. One new entry from Pulse USA. There are a couple of varieties from Velasco Genetics and Meridian. They are claiming it will be high protein, high yield variety. But what we need, high tolerance to heat. Nevertheless, this year the trial looks good. I'm anticipating a decent yield, maybe 20-22 bushels, something like that.
Santra discusses a new variety and how the high temperatures during flowering in June may have been a problem.
Unlike last year, this year looked great. Soil moisture was great. It was planted on time. But with this temperature, I do not know where it will end up. But all these varieties, more or less, is pretty good stand. What I think last 3-4 years, this is the best variety performance so far. We have seen the stand and then growth, all these things until the heat came.
Santra says genetics is one of 4 areas the growers are looking at, including heat tolerance.
And I know I have been working behind that, behind those pea farmers. That's great. So one is genetics, any breeding. That's what they're thinking of. What genetics? Of course, heat tolerance. That is the number one.
Santra says growers are also interested in a winter variety of peas, quality, impact on soil health, and livestock feed.
The Verizon family is full of frowns because they're spending too much for their unlimited data and phones, while the Viero family is all smiles because they're getting 4 lines of unlimited data with 2 free Apple iPhone SE for mom and dad and 2 free LG K31 smartphones for the kids, all for just $100 a month. They're saving so much, they're able to get Fido. Find out how you can too at Viero.com or your nearest Viero store. Viero Wireless, keeping you connected.
When it comes to helping local folks with the loans and financial advice they need, we don't horse around. Our only goal is to help you and your family achieve your financial goals with the right loans and savings products. So if you want to bank with people that care about you and your financial needs, stop by or give us a call. First State Bank. We're big on you. Member FDIC. Online at fsbcentral.com.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. That's a look at today's community calendar, brought to you by First State Bank, honoring those who give back. Nominate your community champion at fsbcentral.com.
Western CPAP Supply has earned an impeccable professional reputation within the Wyoming and Western Nebraska region. Helping you get a good night's sleep is our passion. Our amazing team understands sleep disorders from a personal and professional level. We use CPAPs and BiPAPs too, and sometimes it just helps to work with people who share common ground. Our accredited CPAP supply company is approved by Medicare and Medicaid and is in network with every major insurance company in the region. Western CPAP Supply. We're here to help.
At Platte Valley Investment Center, we believe in personalized planning for your financial goals.
As your retirement income partners, our concern for your success combined with resources from Raymond James can help you make confident decisions for your financial future.
Our team of financial advisors will help you make your money work just as hard as you did to earn it. After all, our goal is to help you reach your financial goals.
Call me, Jody Rosiska, or Kevin Fig, Financial Advisors, to set up your free, no obligation pre-retirement review.
And finally tonight, representatives of History Nebraska were joined by members of the public over the past weekend to officially celebrate the renovation and expansion of the Chimney Rock Visitor Center. Before the ribbon-cutting ceremony, History Nebraska Director and CEO Trevor Jones told those in attendance there is a reason the landmark was on the official state quarter, as Chimney Rock is a symbol of the nation's complicated past and aspirations for the future.
It's a symbol of a journey that we all make through life. and of the things that stand out from the everyday. Chimney Rock mattered to those on the trail because it was different. You could see it for days before you got here and behind you for days after you left it. And I personally believe that we study the past in order to learn how to create a better future.
History Nebraska Board President Marilyn Moore said she was especially pleased with how the Visitor Center tells stories of all people who lived in or came through the area during the Great Migration. The Nebraska Land Foundation also presented a Rising Star Award recognizing the Visitor Center and National Historic Site as a special place bringing important information to the public. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.